not too much to say apart from the fact that we're headed over to throw legs around at the YMCA. So, I've got about 3 more days worth of school for this semester at least. So, not something I love thinking about because I got a lot of work and studying and projects to make sure I have totally finished before I can, totally chill for the winter. But I'll just try not to think about it. At least not for the next hour and a half while I try to break down my hamstrings and quads into the basic fiber of their beings. Hamstrings, of course, is going to be done. Well, it's definitely going to be started off with laying hamstring curls. At this gym, that's just the best hamstring machine that I use. I could do the seated hamstring curl, but something about that one, it just doesn't really hit me that well. I don't know if it's like the machine itself, or maybe I just haven't been adjusting the seat right. There are some seated hamstring curls which I love, but this one's just kind of There is most certainly a difference in hitting in like the stimulus of your hamstring from doing laying to seated. So for variability's sake, I should probably throw some seated in there too. But I get such a crazy pump and burn from the laying hamstring curls. I think I might just be a little bit more inclined to stick with those. So after a few there, once I'm warmed up and strong and I feel fresh, and I'll be able to throw around the stack for, so-and-so amount of reps. Obviously controlling the first couple when I'm strong, getting a full range of motion. But then once I'm on to, the partials, I'll just burn out until I can barely move. I don't think that's a bad way to go about it. I'd say a few of those and then move on to cable RDLs, kind of jerry-rig a little bit of a setup over there. So RDLs on their own are already kind of funky. It's a kind of tricky movement to be able to actually do correctly and only feel your hamstrings firing. But I guess it's really just sort of, I want to say something you just kind of learn over time, but I don't know, man. It's just a little bit tricky because your body wants to use your glutes and your hamstring. No, it wants to use your glutes and your lower back. Pretty much the other two big key muscle groups in your posterior chain, things that are helping you pull things up, like in a deadlift. So you kind of have to be acquainted enough with your build, and have a little bit of muscle control to be able to keep your glutes and your lower back loose. I mean, obviously tight enough for safety's sake, but loose enough and not contracting so that your hamstrings are what are really doing all the work. So you can do them with a straight bar or on a Smith machine or with dumbbells, but I never feel it better than when I do it with two cables. I kind of have to jerry-rig a little setup, but we'll get into that later. And then legs, or no. Quads. Quads is just going to be leg extensions primarily. I'm chilling out on squats for a little bit, just because I want to make sure my whole little lower pressing system gets back to baseline. Over the past couple of months, I keep squatting real heavy, and then I just keep retweaking my right adductor. And I've just been kind of in a loop of like, a couple squat days real heavy. Oh, okay, I can it's feeling a little sore now. Then take maybe another couple squat days off, then do it again, and it's kind of tweaked. It's like, it's just an endless loop. So it's literally insane to do the same shit over and over again. So I'll let my adductors and whatever else down there comes into play when I do those heavy pressing. Just have a little bit of time to reorganize, whatever, repair. Not that I think I really tore anything like that, but it's just a bit of a tweak that's a little bit too annoying to ignore. So leg extensions combined with potentially Smith machine sissy squats, but definitely body weight sissy squats. I honestly, Of course, people get crazy quad pumps doing whatever kind of workouts they do, but when I incorporate leg extensions supersetted into body weight sissy squats, so let's say 20 reps with a really heavy weight for you on the leg extension, approaching if not just hitting failure, and then you stand up, you grab onto the machine, and you do some body weight sissy squats. If you really push it, something about the stretch that I can get on my quads when I do them. I mean, dude, it's my quads never get more pumped than when I do those. So, apart from the fact that I've got to actually get in there and see how everything feels. I mean, hey, maybe I do those laying hamstring curls and I say, oh, this kind of feels like shit. I don't want to do any more of this. And, I'll adjust accordingly. But like all my other lifts, going into them, I have a basic framework of a lift that I want to do, but it's still subject to being influenced by a couple of things. My current state. Maybe I get in there and fuck, man, maybe my right hamstring feels like off. Something about it's like real tight and tender. And I'm like, oh, dude, I should let my fucking hamstrings relax, right? And if it's like that, then of course, no hamstrings for me. But that's kind of something it does sound like common knowledge, but even advanced lifters, it's gonna, like me included, it's always good to remind yourself, if something feels off, you are much better, lifting another day uninjured than pushing it, ripping your shit off and having to say, well, I'm fucked. I'm trying my best to get to a point of, let's just call it skill, where I can really push every lift, but not so far that I ever hurt myself. That's kind of I'd say that's honestly what everybody's training should look like. If this is the realm of intensity, maybe obviously weight is included. You're probably not gonna, rip your quads off doing 50 pounds of leg extension, or rip your biceps off doing like 20-pound bicep curls. But let's say just kind of a grading scale of how hard you're pushing it. Here is like you're gonna rip your pecs off. So too much weight, too much whatever, that's up there. Really, I think this is all about weight. But somewhere a little bit below there is, just about as much as you can handle for a good set without doing any legit damage, right? So you get up to this level of intensity, it's as much as you can do, and you're comfortable doing it. That's where you want to be. This is like, you're not redlining, but you're at 6,000. You're right up there in fifth gear. You don't want to go over. So, not too much time to dilly-dally. I was fucking sleepy before I actually got up and took my pre and everything else, so I kind of delayed the lift a touch. Let's get in there and get warmed up. I got to do a little bit of calves before I actually start hamstrings, because if I don't do a little bit of calves, then my hamstrings feel a little bit tight. Like as I do the curls, I can kind of feel in like the pit of my knees, like, oh, that's a little bit uncomfortable. So a little remedy if that's something that you run into doing hamstrings, maybe do a little bit of calves beforehand. But enough of that. Let's just get in there. All right, so that was a good leg day. One thing that I've kind of been thinking about with quads, and it's a little bit of I feel like it's a little bit of a conflict of maybe not mentalities, but let's call it techniques, because it's not really philosophy, because it's actually, something that we're practicing and actually physically doing. So when it comes to quads, it's a very taxing muscle group. And I kind of feel like there's two very drastic ways of hitting them. I feel pretty comfortable with my style of training hamstrings, so I don't really have a lot of internal, I don't want to say conflicts again, but, internal thoughts swaying back and forth on different kinds of training for hamstrings. I like my heavy sets with partials, and then go until I can't go anymore, stuff like that. And I've gotten some pretty good hamstring development from it, so I think I'll keep it up. But with quads, part of me thinks I should hit quads with a little bit more volume, and I'll explain why I think this. So let's take two scenarios. One, let's say I warm up, maybe I do a couple working sets of leg extensions, my quads are very warm, I am ready to do some squats. So what would the better scenario be? Maybe one set of like 5 plates for like 10, and then there's no chance I could really do a set with that same intensity again, just because the recoverability of my quads in the workout, they're just not going to get back to that strength level. If I do 5 plates for 10, and that last rep is RPE 10, it's my max intensity, I cannot do another one, or better yet, I just actually hit failure and then have to re-rack it. I couldn't get even 6 reps if I tried that set again, just because it did so much damage. So that's kind of one method of squats that I've done. And another that I've kind of gone through is, rather than trying to push it to the absolute limit weight-wise like that, obviously within a working set range, I've done quad days where instead of trying to push the squat like crazy, I'd be a little bit more conservative with it. I do a weight that I can actually handle, and let's say I do like 4 plates for, obviously that doesn't feel like a big difference, 4 versus 5, but it is a pretty big difference. 100 more pounds on your back is very substantial. So let's say I could do 4 plates, or even go as low as 3 plates, go even lighter. And instead of just doing that one crazy set, maybe do 4 or 5 higher volume sets, like maybe failure-ish at about 15 reps, and then re-rack it, take a few minutes, and be able to recover enough to do it again. So part of me thinks, and not just because of like things that I've kind of experienced, but just listening to real freaks, I'm talking like watching older lifters, hearing what they have to talk about quad training, and in a bodybuilding context for muscle growth, they don't really give a shit about the weight for the most part. A lot of except for when they want to show off for like a training clip or like a training video or stuff, a lot of those guys who have monstrous fucking legs, I'm talking old open bodybuilder dudes, they were doing lighter weight, higher reps, really going for more of a burn. And I've kind of heard the same thing. So I'm starting to think I should kind of change the way that I go about my quad training and make it a little bit more of a kind of even output of exertion. I feel like the way that I kind of naturally like to train is I get warmed up, of course, and then every set I'm trying to push it to the limit. High-ass intensity set, take a second. Fucking high-ass intensity, take a little bit. Like that. Like every set is just like right there on the limit. But I think I'll be able to get more work done on my quads if, maybe I chill out with the actual physical strain of the sets, like in terms of their weight and everything else, and maybe be a bit more methodical. So I'm starting to think that for quads, I may benefit more so from lighter squeezing reps, kind of higher volume, really burning kind of stuff, rather than, my kind of super heavy method, because strong quads are not inherently big quads. I don't want to say any slander or anything like that, but in the general scheme of like size, we've got absolute freaks, and of course they're strong. If you have a lot of muscle, you are strong. You can physically move a lot of weight. Mass moves mass. I believe that wholeheartedly. But we got dudes like Larry Wheels or a ton of other power lifters. He just kind of comes to mind, and like he's got big legs, of course. He's a total freak. But you wouldn't necessarily guess, purely by looking at his legs, that that dude can squat like 900 pounds, you know? So I think I need to kind of have a little bit of a internal talk with myself and sort of say, all right, man, like it's cool throwing around a lot of weight. I know you like it, but I think you're better off going a little bit more conservative with it and doing these sets that really burn. I kind of think that subconsciously I prefer doing my really heavy sets with quads, like trying to do really heavy leg extensions and my really heavy squats, because it's easier for me to hit failure, because it's not so much of an endurance test, right? For me to do a set of squats where it's heavy enough that I fail at 8 reps, that's a little bit easier for me than to do a set of squats where I would fail at like 20 reps. And I'm not just saying like an endurance test, like I do the set and like halfway through it, I'm like, like I can't breathe. I'm just talking about the fucking pain that a long squeezing set of quads gives you. So I think it's almost a situation where it's like, you know what you don't want to do, and that just happens to be exactly what you should do. You know, you're fucking laying down at home, oh, I don't want to do my fucking homework, but I should, like some shit like that. So I think I may need to change my style up. Maybe I'll watch some old quad training videos and get some new material in my mind. I'm starting to think I should also throw some lunges in. That would pretty much fit the demographic of the kind of sets that I'm thinking about. Very long, strenuous, burning sets. I think that'd be good for me. But then again, I don't have 0 quads. I've clearly been doing something. So, you know, every time I kind of talk about like, oh, I really want to kind of change up my style of this, let's say I do change it up and it is much better. I'm definitely going to make a little more gains if the training is, you know, better stimulus. But as long as you go in the gym and you go hard and you're doing a reasonably formatted workout, it's not like you can do one where you go in, you really push it, you can feel your quads the day after, and like walking down the steps of the gym, you actually got to hold on to the handrail for real. Now, if you're doing shit like that, you're still going to be on the path towards progress, as long as you couple that training with hitting your protein and calories, plus at least a decent night's sleep. I'm kind of an asshole about that, and I'm really only cutting myself short by not making sure I get my solid 8 hours a night. But you gotta, man. You know, speaking of that, I used to do melatonin for a while. I don't think it really did anything for me. I think what I really got to do is just fucking stay away from blue light, figure out how to detach myself from my phone, and, you know, kind of just go to sleep with my thoughts. And fuck, man, for some people that could be rough. So, you know, maybe you got to kind of train your mind as well if you're dealing with any kind of internal mumbo jumbo, right? Anything that's kind of clouding your mental state. I mean, in a training context, your results will be affected. You know, where the mind goes, the body follows. I believe that with every fiber of my freaking being. You know, so if in your mind you feel like a chump, guess what, man? You're gonna act like one. So fake it till you make it, dog. Put a smile on. Get in the gym. Fucking, if you're not hyped up, fucking pretend you're hyped up. And eventually, honestly, just going through that little motion, you'll start getting excited for real, you know? So I keep referencing this, but if right now you're in the it's so over mentality, don't worry, man. Don't worry. Just try to keep yourself on track. Keep moving. And soon enough, you're going to be like, we're so back. I got to stop saying that. I feel like I say that every 3rd video. Too true, though. Too freaking true. So, I'm gonna get home, get some grub, drink a fuck ton of water, plus electrolytes. I don't have any Silo 9 with me at home. Little electrolyte amino acid blend, which I do like. So I'll have to get some kind of electrolyte packet. But last part of this little post-workout rant, you are not well hydrated, I guarantee it. I can almost guarantee it. I know you don't have a jug full of fucking electrolytes every day and you're just constantly sipping on it, dude. You know. Oh, but I mean, I had half my hydro flask today. What the fuck? Not enough, I'm serious. You will notice a difference when you're fully hydrated. No more random ass cramps, no headaches, better training. Even if you're not eating in a crazy surplus, if you're fully saturated with all your magnesium and potassium and calcium and, everything else under. Oh, holy fuck! Jesus Christ. That guy just ran a stop sign and almost killed me. Actually, I probably would have been okay, but fucking hell, man. If I was prone to insane road rage, I could definitely foresee following this type of dude. Oh my god. Holy shit. Be careful. Be fucking careful, man. Even if you're on top of everything, people can just run out of the stop sign and smack you. That would have been fucked. Holy shit. Oh my god. Well, that's enough near crash scares for one day. Get home if you're doing some random bullshit. Get your pre in your system. If you're lifting in a while, get a big ass meal in you, full of carbs. If you want to get some treats in there too, a little bit of sugars, I'm not gonna blame you. In fact, I might even encourage it, honestly. Even when I'm cutting down and I'm in a calorie deficit, pre-workout, I want a little treat. I want some fucking. I'll do a bag of Skittles pre-workout, even when I'm dieting, because it's not. Oh crap, dude! You're eating Skittles. You're not in a deficit. You're not dieting at all. That's just 50 grams of carbs. Pretty easily digestible carbs, which they're gonna spike. It's gonna spike my blood sugar. Help me have a better workout. So we're really just hitting all sorts of topics now, but I think that's a perfect time to end it. So, like I said, I'm gonna get home, worry about all the school shit that I've put off until the very last minute. Get ready for cardio in the morning after a good night's rest, and then tomorrow's going to be chest. So, not sure where I'm going to go for that, but I can guarantee it's going to be a freaky ass pump. So, I will see you next time.